Does anyone else feel guilty about having sex with someone even though it was great and you all both wanted it? I enjoy natural disasters. I love when hurricanes come. I don't enjoy seeing anyone hurt, but what comes with it? Disturbance of everyday life, no school, no work, having to evacuate. The straight chaos and panic makes me happy. I don't know why. Not sure if I'm the only one who enjoys this. I've always liked hurricanes/natural disasters as a kid, and my grandmother used to tell me not to tell anyone that because they'd think I'm sick. I live off the coast and I'm hoping for an active hurricane season. I 19 male cuddled my best friend 19 male last night and slept in the same bed with him. Before you guys get the wrong idea, we are both straight. This was not sexual at all. He went through a tough breakup yesterday and it kind of felt natural. We are also both huggers. We were watching our favorite movie Superbad when the best friend scene at the end came up. He put his arm around me and told me I'm his best friend, and I said the same. Not going to lie, I enjoyed it, not in a sexual way obviously but in an emotional way. We even sent my GF a selfie and she thought it was cute. My cat also photobombed lol. He fell asleep on me and I kinda just let it be. I'm secure enough in my masculinity where I don't let that shit get in my head. It was a nice moment. My brother actively tries to listen to me masturbate. So, I smoked weed to calm down, so I might be a bit offhandedly RN, but basically as I went to crank one out this morning, as I do every morning, then I hear my brother enter the hallway from his room. Also, I'm 20, he's 18, and I guess I'm kind of a freeloader. After that, as I'm beating my meat, I noticed that I heard him enter the hallway, but not leave. So for 5 minutes I guess he just stood outside my door and listened, until my pre-cum made a weird noise with my hand. Then he stepped on the first step downstairs hard, almost to mark his presence, and went downstairs. I swear I sound nuts, but I'm not lying, and you might be thinking why not just masturbate at other times. Well, I do, but why actively invade my privacy? When I say I'm a freeloader, I mean that I spend pretty much all day in my room, and I typically only leave my room when no one is home because honestly it's easier than having to face the sick bastard. I know I sound like an idiot, but I promise this isn't satirical, I'm just kind of fucked up. I'm pretty sure he goes out of his way to listen to me in my room, which I guess is his way of communicating to me or something. He took a bunch of shrooms and I'm pretty sure he's fucked in the head, which he probably did because I told him I did shrooms and he's got to imitate his older brother. You have to be pretty intelligent to decipher what is going on here, because honestly I don't understand why he can't leave me the fuck alone and just do his own shit. Why the fuck does he have to bother me? Oh, and he does a weird breathing thing where he like catches his breath. He always makes sure to do that when he's in the hallway, to mark his presence of course. Yeah, I have to get the fuck out of here. It feels good to write this out because I hope that someone learns from my mistakes. Though I don't know where I went wrong, so figure it out from what I've said so far and tell me. And if you say the drugs, you're probably right, but I took no more than 15 grams total ever, but he told me did shrooms more than 10 times, whatever that means. Yeah, honestly my mistake was doing drugs. Don't do drugs when you're a kid. I just found out my fiancé has been SAing me. My fiancé, M26, and I, F29, have been together for almost 3 years. While we've had our fair share of problems, we've never had issues to this extent. To give some context, I'm the sole breadwinner. I work from home, but my fiancé takes care of our baby while I do so. My fiancé does not drink, and this was due to a previous situation where he blacked out and wrecked my apartment, but I do drink. He stopped drinking on his own accord, and has never acted like that since. I like to have some beers after work, and especially on the weekends. I ended up starting to drink liquor in place of beer, which I now know is stupid, just because of my stressful days. I'm a software engineer. When I started this, on the weekends, I would get too drunk. Almost always. I take full blame for that, but every Friday night, without fail, I'd end up too drunk, smoking some weed, and off to bed I went. I was never sick or anything, but just a shot too much for me. And so I'd just go to bed. This is why I blame myself. After a few weeks of switching to liquor, and I'd wake up, not hungover or anything, just a normal wake up, and my fiancé would ask me crude questions, jokingly, like how is your hole today? The first time he asked me this, I laughed and went, you were not serious, and he laughed too. Then we'd go about our day. But this happened quite a few times after. He'd always ask the morning after, how's your hole? Or how's your downstairs? Always weird, but I chalked it up to him just being a bit sour that I was drinking, since he does not. Eventually the question became, do you remember me doing you last night? And again, he said it jokingly. I never realized he was actually serious. This has happened maybe 20 times now. We have been having issues with our baby sleep schedule. We take turns, as of lately, to get up with the baby when she wakes up early. She usually wakes up between 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., and it's been killing us. I stopped drinking liquor a few months ago because of the hangovers and me being dead asleep. I have since switched back to beer and White Claws. Well, today was his day to wake up with the baby. I had 3 White Claws last night, over the course of maybe 4 hours, but I wasn't drunk. So, he did wake up with her, and a few hours later, still before I needed to be up for work, he comes to lay her back down for a nap. I briefly woke up and acknowledged them. She sleeps in our room, and went back to sleep. The next thing I know, our room, which is pitch black due to our curtains, is lighting up sporadically. I see it under my eyelids. Eventually my eyes shoot open, and I realize that my fiancé is in bed with me, just laying the opposite way. I figured he was taking a nap too, maybe on his phone, so I repositioned and got comfy. But then the flashes of light continued. After a minute, I realized, while I was laying on my side, in a nightgown, with my legs spread a bit, that he was laying on the opposite end of the bed, under the covers, taking pictures of him between my legs. When I realized this, I kinda froze. I thought maybe he was doing it as a joke. So I held still, and waited. But he kept going. Then I felt him playing in bed next to me a moment later. The flash must have went off a good 15 times. To give a bit more of context, I have never once known this man to jack off. Ever. Never once. Never before the deed, nothing. And I know what you're all thinking, but no, he doesn't do it in private. He doesn't. I always thought it was a bit strange, but whatever. Finally he got up, left, and a little while later I woke up and went downstairs to say hi. After a few minutes, he goes, "How's your hole?" And I couldn't help it, but my laugh was really nervous. I'm assuming he caught on to that, and goes, "You know I was playing to you, right? Because you wouldn't give it up last night?" I truly didn't know how to respond. After a few seconds I just kinda laughed and went, "No way," but he was serious. He then hit his phone for a second, I'm assuming deleted some shit, then showed me the pictures he took of in between my legs while I was sleeping. I was shocked. I didn't know how he'd react if I just started outright calling him a creep, so I told him that I looked gross, and to delete them. He wouldn't. So now here I am. I had to call out of work today because I feel physically sick. All those times he told me he did it with me, I do not remember. I was already asleep. And like I mentioned, I thought he was kidding. But once I started piecing things together, like a piece of a corner wrapper being in the bed, clean up towels, things like that confirmed he did indeed do it with me while I was passed out. I'm starting to think the only reason he's been honest about it is because he thinks I might remember. The only time I ever have was this morning, which scares me even more, but here I am. I know what I need to do, but I don't at the same time. I'm sick. I feel gross. I feel weird. I feel used. I didn't want to think of this as SA. Hell, I still don't. But at the same time, I had no fucking idea this was even happening. I'm very angry, not necessarily with him, but at myself for letting this happen. What about my daughter? I'm terrified for her. He's taking a nap now. I don't know how to get him out of my house without calling the cops. So I guess that's exactly what I need to do. Wish me luck, my whole being is broken right now.